I hate to admit it, but Trump's Liberation Day, his terrorists were incredibly successful. And I've started saying this on my YouTube channel, and people are a little confused because they're like, how are you willing to admit that something that Trump did was incredibly successful? It's because it was. Liberation Day has begun to actually liberate Americans from American propaganda. It forced a country like China into the position of saying, you know what, I'm going to out all of y'all. I'm going to out all of y'all. Let me just tell you this stuff about your luxury goods. Let me tell you stuff about the basic goods that you were buying. We sell those goods for cheap to these companies who mark up those goods. Not 100 times, not even 10%, 20%, 100%, 200%, but a bag. A bag that people are paying thousands of dollars for literally cost a fraction of that. And I think people need to begin to have the conversation they're not ready to have about luxury goods, is that luxury goods is a sign and a manifestation of the fact it's the disregard of the rich for the regular people, the poors, those people who don't have generational wealth. They don't have a home office that is specifically, and I'm not talking about a home office like you have a home office with a computer. I'm talking about a series of professionals who actually take that wealth, invest it, monitor it, and create more wealth out of that generational wealth. Most people don't even know what a home office is. But I think it's time to have the conversation that the poors, like the regular folk who are being overworked and underpaid, it's time that you realize how offensive luxury items are. Like luxury items and the amount that the rich are paying for them, and the fact that they can do it, it comes from your suffering. Okay, so those luxury goods are purchased by the sacrifice of you, and and I have to say again, what Trump did was incredibly successful. Wasn't in the way that he thought it was going to be. It hasn't garnered him support by the masses, but what it has done, it has opened the eyes of many Americans about how things are made, where things are made, the price of those things that are paid by companies, and the price that they're paying. And this continuous this continuous revelation of information is going to continue, and the people are going to, this is just, and I have to tell people, this is just another thing in a litany of things that are going to cause class consciousness. Okay, phase one was, we're pissed, we're going to now tell you the truth, because your president has decided that we're going to put all these high tariffs on. So people now are coming to realize, because Chinese manufacturers, they now have full and complete access to the end customer through this app, through all these apps. They're all over the internet right now, all over your social media, telling you, hey, let me tell you, those exact same pair of shoes that you're paying hundreds of dollars for. Oh yeah, bro. I was paid $10. And so people are now paying attention to the fact that there is no reason for their suffering. I think you guys need to begin to watch the slow moving revolution, but you also need to watch the American government begin to rise up and possibly reconsider not having absolute control over the information that Americans are getting, because once again, places, social media like TikTok and the like, are revealing the secrets. And people are realizing how disgusting it is that a luxury item, which shouldn't actually, it's not even worth what people are paying for it, but it's the fact that the rich are able to afford those luxury gifts because of their suffering. You see, capitalism, the way it's functioning in our modern times, is that a group of individuals exploits another group of individuals, and they don't pay them. They overcharge them, and they take those wealth and they blow it on luxury goods. And so the people are tired of it. So I look forward to this. You know, and I think I've grown comfortable with the fact that I am willing to admit that Liberation Day has been incredibly successful. You know, on the part of getting Americans to deconstruct from American propaganda the way they see China, the way they see luxury goods, the way that they see the goods, and period, that they're, and then the way they see their lives, because they're being exposed through, but like American politicians try to be corrupt, you know, they try to get rid of this app, TikTok. And so everyone ran over to Red Note in protest. And then they were then exposed to the fact that, hey, you're the poorest. The way when people are telling you that you're a third world country with a Gucci belt, like you guys live on credit and you are only as wealthy and as rich as the credit you have. That's the average person because you are able to, through your corrupt credit system, to get goods that you need. And the mockery that has gone on in the past couple of days as the Chinese manufacturer and just Chinese counterparts in general on this app have been getting you guys together, spilling tea and reading you guys for filth. Go check out Buddha Wang. I've been following that dude on Renault for forever. But as they've been gathering you together and getting Americans to see the truth, like I said, you know, and I had to say the synchronicity and the fact that, like, when I was intuiting the message that just don't be, when I said to you guys, I re-put it out. I said, don't be surprised, like that China ends up, like the enemy of your enemy is your friend, but that China's a form of liberation. And that word has shown up in what Trump called Liberation Day. That whole synchronicity of the universe is amazing. And now is showing up in the fact that you are being liberated. Americans are being liberated from these lies that they have believed. And they're beginning to see their situation for what it is. Those who can be reached, you know, cultists, and people who are supremacized will often, they don't care. You can pick their pockets all day as long as you give them white supremacy because they've been indoctrinated into that stupidity, right? But what's going on right now is the liberation of Americans from the lies and the propaganda, and they are beginning to see their actual plight, and they're beginning to see that supremacy and capitalism has robbed them because they weren't seeing it. And it is in large part because many of them had white supremacy. They were gaslit. They believed the lies. They were told that they should be suffering. Their faith was used as an opiate. But all of that stuff is being unwound. And so it gives a person hope. And so however much I can't stand the unaliver in chief. That's coming. The unaliver and deporter in chief, the sacrificer in chief, because that person, you guys haven't seen it yet, but the totality of what that person and those who are trying to reestablish white supremacy in our nation as the core leading and foundational ideas of this nation are going to do, you're going to see it because you're going to have to be unwinding that nonsense for a while. I have another video to make on Christianity based on in light of some things. Anyway, but this gives a person hope, even if it is a slim enough minority that begins to unwind from the stupidity that puts us all in a position to turn America into something that is great. And again, don't confuse what I'm saying here. I am not pro-Trump. I am pro the embetterment of this country and the people in it. And as horrific of an individual and as unprepared and as incapable and mediocre and villainous an individual as Trump is, even something that he did wrong, he did something right.